The movie begins with a scene from the year 1985, where in Amnesty Bay we see a lighthouse. There lived a lighthouse keeper named Tom. On a stormy night, he finds an injured girl by the sea. Then he rescues the girl and brings her to his house. After some time, the girl regains consciousness and suddenly attacks Tom, but after a while, she faints again. The next day, when the girl regains consciousness, she sees a bandage on the wound on her stomach. When the girl feels hungry, she tries to take out a fish from the aquarium in front of her to eat. At that time, Tom tells her that this is not something to eat. Then he offers her coffee and asks her identity. At that moment, the girl reveals that her name is Atlanta, and she is from a city called Atlantis, which is located under the sea. Gradually, they start liking each other. A few years later, Atlanta gives birth to a baby boy, whom she names Arthur. And this is our Aquaman. After some days, suddenly Atlantean soldiers attack them and tell Atlanta to return with them. Although Atlanta defeats them with her trident, still she decides to go back to Atlantis because in this way her child will be safe. Actually, Atlanta's marriage had already been arranged with King Orvax, but she had escaped. So if she does not return, an even bigger army will come. Before leaving, she promises Tom that at the right time she will return to him again. After many years, we see Arthur visiting a marine aquarium with the rest of his schoolmates. There, when two boys start disturbing him, an anchor strikes near the aquarium. Seeing this, everyone else gets scared, and they notice that all the marine creatures have gathered behind Arthur. From here, we learn that Arthur can talk to all sea creatures. Even after many years, Atlanta does not return, though she sends a loyal warrior named Vulko to properly teach Arthur the skills of combat. Vulko trains Arthur on how to use his powers under the sea and how to fight. Arthur trains with the hope that after finishing training, he will meet his mother. But after the training ends, he learns that King Orvax executed Atlanta as punishment for marrying his father and giving birth to Arthur. He also learns that in Atlantis, he has a half-brother. Hearing the news of his mother's death, Arthur gets angry and decides that he will never go to Atlantis. Many years later, under the sea, we see a submarine where pirates attack another submarine, but standing against them is Arthur, who is now known to everyone as Aquaman because he always helps people in times of danger. This time, a fight breaks out between Aquaman and the pirates inside the submarine, and in no time, he defeats them all. During the fight, the leader of the pirates gets trapped under a heavy missile. At this moment, his son David tries to save him, but failing, he finally asks Aquaman for help. But Aquaman refuses to help because all these years they have killed many innocent people. Saying this, Aquaman leaves. After that, David tries to save his father, but finally, as per his father's words, he is forced to leave. He vows to take revenge for his father's death. In the next scene, we see that the leader of Atlantis, Arthur's half-brother Orm, plans to attack the people of the surface. Orm believes that because of Arthur, his mother was executed, and therefore he cannot tolerate humankind. But to attack the surface, support is required from at least 4 out of the 7 kingdoms of the sea. For this, Orm meets his advisor and Arthur's teacher, Vulko, and also negotiates with King Nereus of Zebel, the strongest of the 7 kingdoms. He tells Nereus how surface dwellers are polluting the oceans and that one day their existence will fall into crisis. Therefore, they must unite as soon as possible and attack the surface. But King Nereus tells him that without the support of the 7 kingdoms, it will not be possible to establish him as Ocean Master. Then we see that a submarine of humanity attacks them, as a result of which Orm and Nereus counterattack and destroy the submarine. This was actually Orm's trick, which will be understood later. Because of this attack, King Nereus also begins to believe that the surface dwellers are truly their enemies, and he agrees with Orm to send a signal of attack against the surface. In the next scene, King Nereus's daughter Mera comes to meet Arthur. She does not want war with the surface dwellers, so she tells Arthur that his half-brother Orm is planning to attack the surface, as a result of which both nations will be in danger. Mera tells Arthur to claim the throne of Atlantis so that this war can be stopped. But Arthur refuses because the people of Atlantis themselves killed his mother. So he never wants to go to Atlantis. And along with that, Arthur also tells Mera that if Orm attacks the surface, then he too will not spare him. On the other hand, we see that some of Orm's commandos meet the pirate David and give him some gold coins as payment. Actually, the attack that happened during King Nereus and Orm's meeting was carried out by David. But David says that he does not need this money. He only wants Aquaman, who is responsible for his father's death. Then we see, according to the plan of Nereus and Orm to send an advance signal of attack on the surface, they send a tidal wave to the coast. Unfortunately, in that tidal wave, Arthur and his father get swept away. While Arthur is trying to find his father in the water, at that moment, Mera arrives and helps save Arthur's father. Then Mera tells Arthur that this was the work of his half-brother Orm, and it is just a signal of the coming battle. So, to stop his half-brother Orm, Arthur agrees to go to Atlantis at Mera's request. After that, Mera secretly takes Arthur to Atlantis in her vessel and first meets Vulko, who trained Arthur and is currently Orm's advisor. However, he is against Orm's ideology and does not want the Atlanteans to attack the surface. Here, Vulko and Mera tell Arthur about King Atlan's trident, the first king of Atlantis, and say that if he can retrieve this trident, then he will be able to control all sea creatures and establish himself as the king of Atlantis and stop the war. But there is a problem. When this trident was created, Atlantis was still above the sea, but due to a failed experiment of King Atlan, the entire empire sank under the sea, and the Atlanteans gained the ability to breathe underwater. From then on, the Atlanteans lived under the sea. For this reason, King Atlan went into exile. Since then, no one has seen King Atlan or his trident. That means now Arthur must find that trident at any cost. Vulko gives him an old device and tells him to take it to the Desert Kingdom to search for the trident. But before leaving this place, Arthur is captured by the Atlantis Commando Force. After that, when Arthur is brought before his brother, Orm challenges him to a fight. And Orm agrees to this challenge to show off his power, because Orm knows very well that he can easily defeat Arthur in water, and then nothing will stand in his way of becoming king. As decided, both of them appear in the battle arena. Arthur begins fighting with his mother's trident, while Orm fights with his father's trident. At the beginning, both fight equally, but in the end, Orm destroys Arthur's trident with his own. However, before Orm can kill Arthur, Mera escapes with Arthur. Although Orm and his forces chase them and attack, at one point when Mera's vessel is destroyed, Orm thinks they are dead. But before their vessel is destroyed, Arthur and Mera escape with the help of a whale. Later, we see that Orm tracks both of them. Actually, Mera was arranged to marry Orm, and Orm had given her a bracelet as a gift. It was worn in honor of Queen Atlana, and through that bracelet, Orm is able to track them. Then he orders his commando forces to capture them both. On the other hand, King Nereus also sets the condition that his daughter must be safely returned and handed over to him. If his daughter is harmed in any way, then he will break the alliance. Meanwhile, we see that Arthur and Mera reach the Sahara Desert through their GPS because they believe they will find some clue about the trident there. After searching, they arrive at an ancient temple of the Desert Kingdom in the Sahara Desert. By looking at the symbols, they realize that this is where King Atlan's powerful trident was created. While searching, they find an old circular machine, and they attach the device given by Vulko to it. Through this, they hear a holographic message about King Atlan's trident and find a bottle with a map inside. Seeing the bottle, they realize they must go to Sicily, Italy. After reaching Sicily, with much effort, they discover through the bottle where the trident is located. At that exact moment, David attacks them. Since David now has Atlantean modern weapons, Arthur gets beaten by him. But Arthur, with the help of his intelligence, defeats David. Mera realizes this and breaks her bracelet. After that, the two of them take a boat and set off towards the place where the trident is hidden. On the other hand, we see Orm meeting with the king of another undersea kingdom in order to succeed in his mission. However, when that king rejects Orm's proposal after hearing his plan, Orm kills him in front of his wife and daughter and forces the princess of that kingdom to join them. In this way, Orm unites 3 kingdoms, and if he can gain the support of just one more kingdom, Orm will be able to succeed in his plan, meaning he can attack mankind on the surface. But after this, Orm learns that his current advisor, Volko, is working against him and also finds out that it was Volko who once trained Arthur. So Orm captures Volko. Meanwhile, when Arthur and Mera are traveling by boat, they see some strange creatures on the boat. These creatures attack them, and since their number is huge, they jump into the water. Before jumping, Arthur takes some light sticks because these creatures are afraid of light. Although the massive army of creatures follows them, they cannot get close due to the light. While fleeing, Arthur and Mera see a glowing hole through which they reach a different world at the center of the earth. In this place, Arthur meets his mother, Atlana. Yet all these years, Arthur believed that his mother had been executed. Then Queen Atlana tells Arthur how she survived even after her death sentence and ended up trapped here. Queen Atlana explains that when King Orvax found out about her illegitimate child, he immediately sentenced her to death and threw her into this trench so that the strange creatures would kill her. But fortunately, she came through the glowing hole into this place and survived. Hearing this, Arthur asks his mother if there is any way to get out of here. Then Queen Atlana tells him that only King Atlan's trident can get them out of here, and the trident lies behind the waterfall. But obtaining the trident is not easy because a huge monster named Carathan guards it. Queen Atlana herself tried many times to bring the trident, but the monster allows only the true king to take it. After hearing these words, Arthur enters the waterfall to retrieve the trident, where he sees King Atlan's skeleton and the trident. As soon as he approaches the trident, Carathan attacks him. At one stage of the fight, Arthur begins to talk to the monster, which surprises it, and the monster asks Arthur if he really believes he is worthy of the trident. Arthur replies that he is not worthy of the trident, but has come to take it to protect the people of both worlds. Hearing this, the monster challenges him, saying no one has ever been able to take the trident. If he can, then let him take it. Finally, Arthur takes the trident in his hand and comes out, and all the creatures of the ocean submit to him. He returns adorned in a new golden costume. Meanwhile, Orm, along with the 3 kingdoms that have joined him, attacks a 4th kingdom to gain their support and establish himself as the Ocean Master. In the midst of this battle, Arthur and Mera arrive with Carathan, and appearing on the battlefield, everyone sees that Arthur has brought King Atlan's trident. Seeing this, the battle stops, and they all accept him as the next king, because according to the law of Atlantis, the one who holds the trident will be the king of Atlantis. But Arthur's half-brother Orm challenges him, and Arthur accepts this challenge to prove himself as king. Mera advises him to take Orm to fight above water under the open sky. That way, defeating Orm will be easier for him. After this advice, a romantic scene is shown between them, which becomes one of the key attractions of the Hollywood movie. Finally, while Arthur and Orm are fighting, they end up on a submarine above water, and it is on this submarine that their final battle takes place. In the end, Arthur defeats his half-brother Orm and breaks his trident into pieces. Yet he does not kill Orm. Just then, Queen Atlana arrives there and explains to Orm that his father's wrong teachings have led him astray, and that all living beings on Earth have the right to survive. After this incident, Volko, according to the law of Atlantis, orders the commandos to arrest Orm. However, Arthur tells him that if necessary, he will speak with Orm. Finally, Princess Mera announces Arthur as their new king in front of the Atlanteans. In the last scene of the movie, Queen Atlana returns to her husband, who is still waiting for her beside the lighthouse. This scene stands as the symbol of true love never ends. In the post-credit scene, a marine scientist named Dr. Stephen finds David injured in the ocean and saves him. After David regains consciousness, he sees Stephen experimenting with his Atlantean weapons. When Stephen asks where he got these weapons, David replies, "I will tell you everything, but first tell me, where can I find Aquaman?" And the movie ends here.